everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at njRAT. njRAT is a Trojan built for modern Windows operating systems, Windows 7 and up, and it both has a 32 and a 64-bit variant. In this case, we're going to take a look at the 64-bit variant. Now, I will go ahead and put this out there. This particular piece of malware holds a special place in my heart because njRAT, I believe, is the first remote access Trojan that I ever used. Now, everybody's going to be like, oh my god, we got a badass over here. And I should let you know that it was only used for educational purposes anyway. But I just wanted to put that out there. So this one is very special to me, and I'm glad that we're finally able to review it on the channel. Before we run it, we're going to take a look at it on the Threat Insights portal, courtesy of Nike Analytics. We can see this was last analyzed 7 minutes ago. It has a size of 484 kilobytes, a very small file, uploaded by guest, which is me, and a reputation of 0 as nobody has voted on it yet. We can see Reversing Labs gives it a detail of malicious bytecode miscell.backdoor.njRAT. VirusTotal gives it a 40.8% detection ratio. Trojan.Blotabindi/MSIL is the popular threat label. Hatching Triage gives it 10 out of 10. njRAT, Nyan Discovery Execution. AnyRun gives it 100%. Threat level 2, malicious activity. Threat zone gives it a malicious score of 3. Kaspersky OpenTip does confirm it to be malicious, and UnpackMe has no detections for it. If we go to details and file identifiers, this is your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256 for the video. If you want to follow along during the video or even afterwards, it will also be in the comment section. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the tools that we'll be using to analyze the malware. We have System Informer, Wireshark, Zooey, and Process Monitor. We'll go ahead and take a look at the properties of the file, and if we go over to details, we can see that we have absolutely no details whatsoever. No description, no name, anything. It didn't even come as a named file, it just came as a random string.exe. So now the last thing to do is go ahead and get everything ready. System Informer is good to go. I'll restart the process capture, the packet capture, and then I will get you open. And now, without any further ado, let's run some malware. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure I do. So we click yes, and immediately we get PowerShell.exe, console host. Now the problem is with the 64-bit variant, you actually have to have .NET Framework 3.5 downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and start the download for that, but I'm not going to pause the video because while it's doing that in the background, we're going to take a look at this in VirusTotal. So we'll go ahead and open a new tab for it. I can take this out of full screen now. And we can see that it has 31 out of 72 detections. Here's your popular threat label. Your threat categories are Trojan and Dropper. And family labels are Blotabindi, MSAL, and Fonzie. I'm not sure why it doesn't have njRAT as even one of the 3 family labels, but okay. Your tags are portable executable, 64-bit, macro PowerShell, checks user input, overlay, detects debug environment, long sleeps, checks CPU name, spreader, malware, and calls WMI. Is that enough tags for you? And I do just want to check and make sure that Bitdefender and Kaspersky... Here's Kaspersky. Where's Bitdefender? Oh my god. That's weird because, and I do understand that this is a modified version of the malware. No 2 pieces of njRAT are going to be the same. Same goes for any malware sample. But with it being so old, you would think the Bitdefender would have at least some kind of AI detection for it. So I'll definitely send them a sample of this once the video is over. We do also have some associations been submitted by both Carlos Cabal and Jaffa Cakes for njRAT malware. And if we go to community, we can see that quite a few people have been here. Nike, Jaffa, Kerr, Carlos, Cyber Fortress, Joe Security, and AnyRun. And if you want to take a look at relations, you have fronttrader.gl.at.py.gg. That enough dots for you. And you also do have this very malicious IP, which we'll look out for. Now, this should have finished doing what it was doing, so if we pull this back up here, oh, it's still going. Protect your cherished pictures and documents. Your stuff matters. Keep it protected by choosing a backup option that works for you. Unfortunately, Windows, that may have been a bit too little, a bit too late. And what perfect timing. It was just finished installing. Get the hell out of here. We'll go ahead and click close, and now let's run some malware. I'm not reading all this again. So we open it down here. We see PowerShell.exe open immediately, and then it should close soon. And we've got client_decrypted.exe. So this is where I should tell you that this is a remote access Trojan, in the sense that the C2 operator can actually control most parts of your computer through a GUI. So this is kind of the case of what it was with, what was the one that we reviewed? We reviewed Atera on this channel before, where the guy actually took control of the system and like deleted a bunch of files so I couldn't operate it anymore. This isn't really the same. NJRAT's more so built so that the person can actually pilfer through your computer, normally without ever interacting with your desktop, so you never know they're doing it. But in that case, it's more for stealing your data. The Atera agent video was more of just to fuck with us. This is more of actually just, you know, siphoning data from our computer. In this case, I also very highly doubt we're going to see any activity anyway, because while I don't believe NJRAT was made in the USA, it's mostly used by like script kiddies in the USA today, mostly because it's so old and so many AV companies have a signature for it. The reason I bring that up is because if they are in the USA, they're A, either not going to even be awake, or B, much less going to be in front of their computer at 11:54 p.m. So I did just want to put that out there. This is all that we're going to see on the System Informer front. So now we're going to go ahead and pause the packet capture. We've already got 12 million events, and we're going to do 2 filters. We're also going to resize this because I do want to be able to read the entire path for everything. We're going to do operation is create file, and we're going to do process name is, and it was a random string, so we'll just pick that one and apply. It won't take too long, since I've assigned a lot more memory to this virtual machine lately. It's obviously going to take more than just 2 seconds with 12.5 million events, but it should be done in 5 or less seconds. So we'll just let that do its thing. And we have 737 events. That is more than there was in testing. Okay, we'll skim through this really quick. It's a bit too many to just focus on everything for a 30-minute video, but we'll skim through this for sure. So immediately we've got dxgidebug.dll. That's definitely custom for the malware. We've got sfc_os.dll. We got some more DLLs that I'm not familiar with some of these, like Rich to 20, but I've got a feeling that they do actually come with legitimate programs. So we'll just skim through that. We're in common controls, okay, comctl32.dll, shcore.dll, it's fine. I try not to spend much time on DLLs because even though there is some information that you can get from them, they're really not all that interesting. We do also have win.ini being accessed at least. I wonder if anything is being written to it. So if we edit it for 16-bit app support, no, it doesn't look like. We've got an MAPI equals 1. So that's interesting, but obviously I'm not going to mess with win.ini. I want the computer to actually restart, so we'll leave that alone. We've got wintypes.dll and tmarta.dll has been called again. We've got a temporar SFX access check. I wonder if that's actually still there. No, it does seem that that's actually been deleted. Okay, so we'll move on. We've got a decry.ps1 and a 1.vbs. Now, if I remember correctly, during testing, I actually saw these in the temp directory without even having process monitor open. Yeah, so we've got a simple Visual Basic script that kind of dates how old the malware is. And this one reads set obj shell equals create object with some quotes and parentheses wscript.shell. And then the next line is obj shell.run PowerShell no profile execution policy bypass file decry.ps1 0 false. and then your decry.ps1 is right here. So they're both actually still here. The malware does not actually delete it, so do with that as you will. I will go ahead and close that folder because we're done with it for now. We do also have something I didn't see, programma_crypt.exe, which is actually still here. So now I'm going to shove this in VirusTotal. We'll go ahead and do that. Confirm upload. It looks like this may not have ever been uploaded, and it doesn't look like it has. But there was one thing that we saw. It may have actually been this. Yeah, I uploaded client_decrypted.exe to VirusTotal. We will do that once we get done with looking at everything in Process Monitor, but that's going to be a while and a half away. So anything else that's immediately jumping out to us, we don't want to look at everything, because a lot of this is just either red herrings or just not interesting enough. We do have a bunch of desktop.inis. That's fine. Usually when you jump to them, they're not there anymore. They've been called and deleted. And there's definitely not one on the desktop. I mean, we can minimize this really quick and show. Wow, it's not there. Who would have guessed? We've got wscript.exe being called, however. It's also opening Microsoft Edge. And it has detected that we've got VMware installed. But this is another one of those cocky little pieces of malware built to where even if you do have VMware and it detects it, it doesn't really care. In this case, it's probably because the malware is so old, there's no need for it to have any anti-debug features anyway. Everybody knows what NJRAT is. But if we keep going through here, we've got file maps, okay. Not too much interesting there. We got a bunch of DLLs, a bunch of common controls. It looks like it may have actually ran its check twice. Because, yeah, this is all starting to look very similar. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Okay, so that's fine. And the next one we're going to take a look at is the client_decrypted. So we'll go to filter. We'll modify this for client, if I could type, uninstall decrypted.exe. Add and apply. And it's going to take a little bit of time, so while it does that, we can actually see that programma_crypt.exe has no detections. It's a 32 kilobyte file that wasn't detected. But we do see that it has 3 execution parents, novapasta2.exe, and a random string, which may actually be the random string that we have. It was like a CA9. Yeah, that's definitely the same one. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we've got one parent process, or parent executable thing, execution parent. Sorry, couldn't remember the right word. But we do definitely have that. Sorry, I'm still sick. Now, client_decryptor.exe only has 266 events, so we can spend a little more time on this, although I'm not just going to sit here and stare at every little thing. If we look through here, a bunch of DLLs, a bunch of hidden things we're not really able to look at in Process Monitor. Microsoft.NET Framework, that did need to be installed, didn't it? So keep going through here. It's accessing the temp directory again, but I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary that this is really doing. We are seeing it's in the assembly directory, so that may be a giveaway that the malware was written in assembly. It's possible. Microsoft.NET, and that's about it. Nothing interesting on this end. So now I'm going to go ahead and analyze this in VirusTotal, and I will just let you guys know I've analyzed this before, so this isn't just a dead end. Now if we shove this in here, like I said, this is actually the client end of NJRAT. So what this is, the random string, the CA912, was basically the dropper, and what we have here in this case now, the client.exe, is the actual interactable client. So I explained that a little bit earlier, but I feel like what I said now is more of a detailed overview. Now we can actually look and see about, if we go back to the temp directory, there's really no point in doing this, just let you know ahead of time, but I do want to be thorough, just for people to be like, oh, but what if you analyze this? We're going to go ahead and shove 1.vbs and that PowerShell script in here, the decry.ps1, just because I, want to put it in here. And with the create file thing, we're not going to see anything. I'm fairly certain they're just supporting files, but we'll look. Sorry, Jesus, I almost choked on my own spit. because a couple of people have actually asked me to be more thorough in recent videos. So this is what we're doing. We're being thorough. And as you can see, there's nothing here. I knew that there wasn't going to be anything here, but, you know, if you were wondering, now you know. Now we can go ahead and close Process Monitor. We're done with it. And we can set this back to take up half the screen. Let's open Wireshark, and as you can see, we have a bunch of TCP retransmissions and some reset acknowledgements. And if I remember correctly, this is definitely the C2 that we saw on the original malware. So if we go back and go to relations, yeah, that's definitely it. 147.185.221.25. Yeah, this is just one of those things you can immediately figure out the C2 even without doing any pre-analysis, because it's just so obvious. Now, we don't see a lot of connections after that, but if I go, say, earlier, let's see, this is 74.235.254.167. We got a bunch of connections from it. That is suspicious, but I wonder what that is. I'll tell you what, we will go to Abuse IPDB really quick, just to take a look at it. If we go to 74.235.254.167 and check it, it was found in the database, but only one time. Oh, it's a Microsoft ISP. Okay. Brute force on Telnet. Well, that's one report. But since that's a Microsoft IP, it's probably trying to, like, access an update server or something like that. But now we can go ahead and close this, and as you can see, we just got another reset acknowledgement from our C2 server. We'll save this as 1.pcapng, and we'll shove it in Zooey. Now, I'll go ahead and let you know now, if we don't find any red flag alerts in Zooey with this, I'll probably fall out on the floor, because this malware and its infection and its C2 access things are so old that basically everything and everyone should know how to look for it. The one thing that I will say about NJRAT, though, is it's extremely lightweight. As you can see, this was less than a megabyte, and by a pretty good amount. Yeah, it's 484 kilobytes, and the client is regularly using like 0.3% of the CPU. We have seen it reach like 0.5%, but oh my god, it makes a computer literally unusable, right? I did just want to point out, this is very lightweight. So we will go ahead and take a look at Zooey once it is done. And I do want to go ahead and try to access this IP address because, you know, since the fake FBI thing I got from Radamanthus, I'm just hooked on trying to access these. So if we go to it, it takes us straight to playit.gg. Once you run an online game server, forget hosting providers, use your own computer for free. Okay, I think I see where this is going. Playit.gg makes it easy for friends to connect. Now, I've never heard of Playit.gg. I don't know if this is legitimate or not, but I'm assuming by looking at it that it probably is. This does look like a legitimate platform. It's just unfortunate that it's actually also being used as a C2 for NJRAT, which is totally possible. We've seen Google Cloud use for it, so, you know, not out of the realm of possibility. And immediately we've got an alert 2. We've got 884 total rows. But if we look at the alert 2, etinfo playit.gg tunneling domain in DNS lookup, category potentially bad traffic, which is what we literally just looked at. Okay. And the alert 2 is also telling me that it is a legitimate platform that's just used a lot for malicious activity. Because if it was just a C2 thing, it'd be like, alert 1, this is an NJRAT C2 or something like that. Alert 3 tells us a .ply.gg was found in a tunneling service in DNS lookup. And then we're going to start getting the suricata stuff, which I don't care about. So I'm going to skip most of the alert 3s unless they're like right next to an alert 2 or 1 or a notice. But if we keep looking through here, we've got HTTP here. Pretty sure this is just going to be, yeah, it's a certificate authority. We got another alert 2 here, though. And it's, yeah, the playit.gg tunneling domain. So we'll skip past that. Is this the same one? Does seem to be the same one. It looks like it's just making regular checks to that domain. Okay. So we'll skip through these. We know what they are. And that's probably all we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get an alert 1 or a notice or anything like that. But if we keep going, it's just the same thing over and over. But like I said, oh, wait. Invalid certificate? Yes, but it's from Microsoft, so we can ignore that. We got a bunch of HTTP stuff here. That is... Yep, that's the 7.4 host that I was looking at earlier. And yeah, as I thought, it's the file streaming service for updates for Microsoft. Annoying, but it does this literally at any time for any reason or no reason at all, so it's completely unavoidable. What just closed? Huh. I thought I already closed not system informer, process monitor, but I just saw something close and I don't see anything missing. Okay, and the interesting. Now you are watching this and you're going to have seen like process monitor close, and now I'm just acting completely schizo. But that is odd. And the CPU usage on the client has picked up. I'm going to keep going. But we may get a surprise visitor this episode. But either way, this is for probably... Yeah, the region of Washington immediately just tells me that it's Microsoft. So we can keep moving. This notice is probably the same one. Yep, Microsoft. That one even tells you the locale, like Redmond. So we'll keep moving. We'll probably see another alert 2 down here from when I accessed playa.gg directly. But no, we're not even seeing that. So that's all that we're going to get from Zooey. Let's see here. I think we've covered everything. Oh yeah, we were going to take a look at that domain. So we're going to do front trader. I think it was .gl. Yeah, GL ATPOYGG. ATPOYGG. And if you try that, it's probably going to say connection refused. Oh no, it just took us straight back to playa.gg. Okay. Interessante. Just to get a feel for how many reports this has, if I go to abuse IPDB and whois, and shove the playa.gg IP in there, it was only reported one time. Let's see, and this was 4 weeks ago. ET hunting observed interesting content type. Okay, so this looks like this was probably from an IDS or IPS filter. Something to keep in mind. And if I shove it through whois, we probably won't get much more information from this. And again, if you find an email or something, don't go harassing anybody. This is out of Carson City, Nevada. That just reminds me of GTA 3. It doesn't mean anything. And yeah, there's not really information to grab from here. It was just something I wanted to check out. I'm really surprised that it only has 1 report, but 19 detections. Let me open this in VirusTotal really quick. This IPv4 is used by Mirai. Mirai is a malware that created a big botnet of network devices running Linux, making them remotely controlled bots that can be used for large-scale network attacks. It primarily targets online consumer devices such as IP cameras and home routers. And this was according to Cluster 25 28 days ago. And 206 community posts. So this is, yep, we got Sarlacc Lab an hour ago saying this is an NJRAT C2. Stage C2 config observed. It's not saying with what family. And then Nix is posting literally just stuff off of ThreatFox and probably whois. But they are giving it NJRAT. So it looks like either... And now this person's saying it's an XWorm C2. Very interesting. But what does it all mean? That is something to keep in mind. I may do some investigation into that later. Sorry, I did just want to see WebRoot. Are we picking up on this? No, we're not. But I do see Kaspersky, and Bitdefender is here as well, which is interesting to me that Bitdefender figured out the IP, but not the malware. It could happen. But that's really all I wanted to look for. Now the last thing to do is just to restart the computer and see if this does have persistence. I've yet to see a version of njRAT that doesn't. However, it should be noted that I didn't see persistence in the tags in VirusTotal, especially when there were a bajillion of them. But we'll go ahead and restart the malware and see for ourselves. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I've been putting a lot of energy into them lately. I think I've done like 7 videos in the past 2 days. But it's been enjoyable. I've been doing it because it's been fun. And I saw njRAT was uploaded to my malware forum, and it actually worked. And I was like, well, we got to do a video on this tonight. Let's go ahead and open System Informer and shove it over here. And we should see the client file open soon. What in the world? Okay. I'm not seeing it open on startup. Saw a user in it. Tell you what, if we open VirusTotal again, just drag this over to the left side. Go ahead and minimize that. Not now. Go to history, and that's the IP. Nope, that's not the one I wanted to click. Go back to, yeah, that one. Let's go to behavior. I don't spend much time on behavior, but in this case, it might help out. And then we maximize this. Any criticals or highs? Yeah, we do have 3 high sigma rules. Okay. System file execution location anomaly, suspicious script execution from temp folder, which was our .ps one we saw earlier. Script interpreter execution from suspicious folder. But we're not seeing anything to do with startup. Well, that's odd. And another thing here, there's crowdsourced IDS rules with njRAT and Bladabindi CNC that we didn't see on Zooey. That's interesting. Either way, it does not seem to have persistence. So that's really the last thing that we can take a look at for dynamic analysis. So that's where we're going to end the video. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment what you thought was the most interesting part of njRAT, and also let me know if there's anything I did in this video that you feel like is redundant, or if there's anything I didn't do which you feel like is necessary. Either way, my name is Larry. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.